Hi, I'm Tina Ann Middleton, author of the Forestville series. Welcome to the Writing Journey, where we encourage and inspire each other as we learn to write together. Today we're going to be talking about the tools and resources that are available for writers. Do you know what those resources are? There are so many resources for writers, and I'm sure I have just scratched the surface. So let's talk about some of them, and I'm going to be turning toward my computer for this. Let's take a look. One of them is Microsoft Word. And that one is what I used to write first these two little books, Nicky Dog and Love and Grace. I just typed them up in Microsoft Word and submitted them that way. Not something I would recommend now for those who are independently publishing. You really need to make it look better than I did. I was just getting started. But I also wrote Mistaken Target in Word. And then we put it in another resource that I'm going to tell you about called Indesign. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Word itself has a lot of tools. And you just take a look up here. You can insert things, design, layout. It has a dictionary. Now, I'll admit I did not use the dictionary. I have a pretty good vocabulary because I read a lot. But sometimes I would be going along and I would look at a paragraph and I would be counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, I used that same word several times in that short paragraph. How do I convey that meaning without using the same word over and over? Ta-da! I use the thesaurus. It pops up over here. You type in the word that you're looking for. Let's say swift. And you want to know what's other words you can use besides swift. There we go. Rapid, instant, immediate. That helped me so much. I can't even begin to tell you, even though I'm a writer. Okay. So this one, that was my go-to numerous times. Use your tools in Microsoft Word. It's very, very useful. Now, the other tool that I used for the second book is something called Scrivener. Scrivener is for writers, and it helps you to organize. Let's see if I can show you. It has a tutorial, it has a user manual, there are video tutorials on how to use it. So we'll just go ahead and go to one of my projects. Oops. Let me pull that up for you. Lots of clicking. Be prepared for that when you're writing. And as you can see over here, you can do your chapters. You can break it down into scenes. It lets you organize those. Let's see if I can, that's the novel format. No, that's not what I want. Hidden target. There we go. See, it's got the index cards. Chapter 3. Let's say you wanted to look, whoops. One thing you need to do is play around with it so that you learn how to use the different tools. I didn't use the cards as much myself. Some people might prefer the cards, little index cards right there on the computer that let you organize. I preferred the outline over here. That's what worked for me. If I needed to add a new scene, I could just do this. Add, new text, new folder. So if you decide to use this tool, be sure you go through the tutorial. Be sure you check out the YouTube tutorials. Very, very helpful. So that was Scrivener. Now, with both of these, both of the novels, Hidden Target and Mistaken Target, after I had written this one in Word and this one in Scrivener, we used another tool. It's called Indesign. Now, I don't have that one on my computer. My husband helped me with this. Husbands can be very useful tools too, or wives, or other family members. You know, that 12-year-old child in your family that knows the computer frontwards and backwards. So be sure that you get help from your family. We'll be talking about support in a future episode, but they're also a great resource. But we took it and we put it into InDesign. And then we went through and we changed things around and moved things around to give it the professional appearance that it has in a novel like this. So that it did not come out looking like this. Like I said, this was a learning process for me. I had to learn how to go from something like this to something like this. So that's what you might say computer resources for the writer. Word, which has multiple tools in it for you. Scrivener also has multiple tools in it for you. So let's look at some non-computer resources, and really the main one that I think about, being the reader that I am, main one I think about is books. There are so many books out there about writing. If I started now, we'd still be here next week, as I told you about all the books that are out there for writing. You go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any of the bookstores that you go to, you look it up, and there's going to be a big, long list of books for writing. Let me tell you a few that helped me. One of them that encouraged me to get going is called Just Write by James Scott Bell. And he's the one that pointed out that being a writer is not for this elite group of people who have special brains. He said anybody can be a writer. You just sit down and you write. That was very encouraging for me. The other one is a book I learned about when I was in Romance Writers of America and our local group, NOLA Stars. And it's called Story Trumps Structure. And those two, I would encourage you to get those books and read through them. Now, the one that was a great resource for me is this one, Editor Proof Your Writing. He tells you things to watch for as you write. So, now I used the EBook for a long time, and I finally told my husband, I need something I can flip back and forth in. So this book, he tells you things to watch out for, to look for in your book, and then he has exercises for you to do. Let me find the exercises. Or he'll give you an assignment. This is from, I can't see the chapter because I don't have my readers on, but it says, study each scene of your first chapter to determine the point of view, characters, education, and socioeconomic level. So he tells you things to look for in your book, to tighten things up, to make it good. There are lists in here, things for you to avoid. Cliches. Avoid cliches like the plague. He's got a list of them right there. So I would encourage new writers, those who want to be writers, get this book. And every time you write a book, use this. It does help your book to sound much, much better. I've just gone over a few of the resources for writers, and I would welcome comments from you now. What do you use? Are there books you've read that you have found especially helpful? Are there tools on your computer that you have found that just make writing so much easier for you? So please, send me your comments below. I would also invite you to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Also follow me on my Amazon author page. Be sure you subscribe, ring the bell so you'll know when I post the next video.